school friends, it's Karri, the program coordinator, here with another episode of Artist in Your Residence. Today we're going to be doing a piece of art that is inspired by Piet Mondrian. This is a very simple piece of art to recreate. He used a lot of primary color and line in his work. He called this style neoplasticism, and it was inspired by Cubism. And most importantly, he wanted to express the relationship between colors and lines. So it's a pretty easy piece of art to recreate. You can make it as simple or as detailed as you would like. So you will need some supplies for this. You will need some type of paper. Any paper will do. You will need a pencil, an eraser, a ruler, and you will need primary colors of your markers. So you'll need the red, yellow, blue, and a black. So I went ahead and pre-traced out some squares and rectangle shapes for this project. So you'll want to do that in advance. I just used some scrap paper and I just cut out a variety of different rectangles and squares to use as my tracers for this project. So I did 6 different sizes. You can do as many as you like. I thought 6 was a good number. So you'll want to pre-cut those out because you will be using those for the next step. Next, you will want to start tracing your squares and rectangles onto your paper. There is no perfect way to do this. You basically just start tracing. The only thing that I suggest is that you make sure that when you're tracing, you're keeping it with a 90-degree angle of your paper. So you don't really want to trace like this. You would want to make sure that it was nice and straight and in line with the edges of your paper so that you're getting those nice straight 90-degree angle lines. So you can go ahead and begin tracing all of your shapes on. I started with the biggest one just because I kind of thought that would take up the most space, and I did do a few of those to start. So you'll want to start tracing your shapes on, and you will want to overlap them. So it gives you actually more squares and more rectangles in your art to fill in than if you overlap them. So I'll show you an example of how I overlapped these two. I did the bigger rectangle and the smaller square, and then you see that it does create a smaller rectangle in there to color. So you will want to do that. I went ahead and I did draw out all of my rectangles for the sake of time. And have that completed so we can look at it. So you can see how I did mine. I have a lot of different shapes on there. I did a lot of overlapping. I really like that effect with the overlapping of the squares. Okay, so once you get to that point, you're going to start wanting to put your color on. So I started with the red, and you can see from my example, I tried to space out the color a bit from each other. So I did red here, 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 here. But I didn't put them too close together. I didn't put 2 reds next to each other. I wouldn't put red here and then a red here. So I tried to leave some space in between them just to give it kind of an even look. So keep that in mind when you're coloring in your squares. There's really no wrong way to do it. So as long as you kind of get them colored in, and you are leaving white spaces. So you're not going to be coloring in the entire thing. So to color them in, I just do a basic outline on my squares. And then I do color them in solid, just so that I know I have kind of a really nice sharp edge on my squares. So then I will color that in, and I usually like to do kind of an even amount. So if I'm doing like 4 red squares, I would then do 4 yellow and 4 blue. So kind of keep that in mind when you're coloring too. I went ahead and I completed coloring in all my squares so that we can go on to the next step. So you can see I did 4 yellow, 4 red, and 4 blue on this one. So it was fairly even, and you can see I didn't put them too close together with the colors. I kind of kept a nice variety there. So the next step is outlining. So you'll need your black marker, and you'll just want to start outlining all of your lines. You want to make sure you're taking your time on this, and you may even want to use your ruler if you'd like, just so you can get your lines nice and straight. But you want to just go nice and slowly. Keep them nice and straight. Make sure you're going over your edges of the marker if you colored, a little bit outside of the line, just to give it a nice straight look. So I'm going to just outline this one area for you to see, and that way you will know how to continue on with yours. You want to make sure you're doing all of the lines, and that's when you'll start to really see it come together. Your lines are nice and bold then, and it really gives you that Mondrian art look. So it's a pretty fun project. Like I said, you can do it no matter what your age and no matter what your skill level. You can do this super tiny if you'd like, and a lot of squares, or you can make it even larger if you'd like. Again, I'll show you my finished product so that you know what you're working towards. It's very fun, very bold, bright colors, very simple to do. I hope you guys enjoy this art project and have a lot of fun with it. Please post your pictures and share them with me. I'd love to see them. Just have fun, be safe, and stay creative, and we'll see you next time.